This is a Nightline Friday night special. From his pen came characters that have become icons, known the world over.
I think that Schulz is uniquely American and is also universal.
Every cartoonist, no matter sort of what their opinion, I would say, has Peanuts envy.
And the first comic strip with a philosophy.
The gags are hilarious, but the fact is that there's a real psychological depth to the strip.
This week, after 50 years at the drawing board, he'll run his last Peanuts.
As a social phenomenon, it rocked.
Hey, Charles, you're okay. Have a rotten day.
You too, bud.
Tonight, good grief, Charles Schulz. From ABC News, this is Nightline. Substituting for Ted Koppel and reporting from Washington, Chris Bury.
Charlie Brown once said, "Happiness is a warm puppy." But the truth is, happiness is rarely funny. No one knows that better than cartoonists, and no cartoonist understands the principle better than Charles Schulz, known as Sparky to his friends and colleagues. His comic strip Peanuts has been around so long, more than 50 years now, that we forget how revolutionary it really was. The idea of characters with bittersweet, complicated, even neurotic inner lives just did not exist before Schulz created Charlie Brown, Lucy, Linus, Snoopy, and all the rest. Now, in these days of in-your-face cartoons like South Park and The Simpsons, the Peanuts characters seem somehow quaint, even old-fashioned. But Gary Trudeau, who writes the Doonesbury strip, calls Schulz the uncontested gold standard for comics. And the Peanuts cottage industry, all those T-shirts, mugs, and posters, not to mention the TV specials, still rakes in more than $1 billion a year. On Sunday, newspapers across the country will run the final original color episode of Peanuts. By now, you've probably heard that Charles Schulz is ill and has decided to retire. So we thought the best way to mark the end of his extraordinary run in the funny papers was to gather some extraordinary people and a couple of smart puppets to talk about what the Peanuts gang has meant to them.
I think Lucy is my favorite character.
Well, Snoopy was always cool.
Charlie Brown's everybody. Charlie Brown is all of us.
My favorite Peanuts character is that dude who never bathed.
I owe that to Schroeder.
So we all have a favorite, see ourselves in at least one of the Peanuts gang, or notice something of each character in ourselves. Charlie Brown, of course, is the bumbling striver, the guy who tries hard but never quite makes the kick or flies the kite or wins the girl of his dreams. Yet he never stops trying.
He reminds us we're not alone, that we all feel that we're the only person with insecurities, that we're the only people that maybe have a failure. When you see somebody else doing it right there in the newspaper every day, it makes you feel a little bit better about yourself.
Charlie Brown always made me so depressed when I first looked at that strip. And I think the thing that depressed me about Charlie Brown is that I thought, this guy's never going to change.
Charlie Brown, I think, is a hero to most Americans because he's the underdog, but you'd never convince him of that. He's going to win. He can be behind 27-0. The rain could be coming down, but Charlie Brown's going to be out on the mound. That's where he wants to be.
Charlie Brown playing baseball and never doing it quite right. You know, I can relate to that. It took me 35 years to get to a World Series. I love it. Where it says, you know, Charlie Brown is saying, this is my Joe Torre look. My wife has been kidding me about this look that I have. She says, that look, if looks could kill, you've got that look.
Charlie Brown is going to grow up to be Charles Schulz. You know that. He's going to grow up and draw a comic strip about himself. That's the story.
There's a lot of Charlie Brown in all of us. At least I think there's a lot of Charlie Brown in me. I like to think that.
The sweetness of Charlie Brown is offset by sour little Lucy. She's the sassy one, the firebrand, the rain on Charlie Brown's parade.
Lucy, we all have a Lucy in our life.
Fuss budget.
Lucy's my older sister.
Arrogant fuss budget, self-righteous.
Lucy was very demanding. Maybe it reminds me of my wife once in a while.
I have to say, I was Lucy. I was Lucy to Reggie, you know, and that was a funny thing about it is, it's like, you know, any big sister picking on her little brother, you know, and just when, you know, Charlie Brown would get that his nerve back up and start running down the, you know, the football field to kick the ball, she would move it. I just thought that was hilarious.
A lot of people love Lucy and they love her bullheaded approach to things, but she really irritated me and she still does.
In order to have humor, you have to have conflict. If everybody agreed, if they all got along, there would be no humor whatsoever.
All these characters they're not adults and they're not children. They sort of combine perhaps the worst aspects of both, which makes them so potent.
If there's one character that a grouchy guy like Oscar could identify with, who would that be?
I think Lucy. Because Pigpen may have my admiration about getting all messed up. Ah, Lucy, what a grouch. Yeah, Lucy.
Lucy's little brother is Linus. That security blanket is what made him famous, of course, but Linus is really the conscience of the cartoon, the spiritual side of Peanuts.
He seems to be the one to be the least neurotic, but at the same time, he's not completely secure either.
Linus grounds the strip. Linus is the real person there.
He's the friend that we all wish we had, and most of us aspire to be to another person.
And the idea of the security blanket, you know, is something we all can relate to. See, I have my security blanket, a little Sharpie pen.
If you need support and it's going to be a blanket, so be it.
But the most vibrant character, the hero of our dreams and fulfiller of our fantasies, is the dog who lives right here.
Snoopy paved the way, you know, before Marmaduke, before Clifford. There was the Snoopster, you know.
Snoopy is everybody's inner confidence. Snoopy's who we all sort of wish we could be, I think.
Take Snoopy out of that feature and everybody's going to be pretty serious. It might even be a little bit dark at times if it weren't for Snoopy coming in and, you know, saying, lighten up, let's dance through the flowers.
How has Snoopy influenced my life directly? I don't know.
My squadron mate considered giving me the call sign Woodstock, and I could only envision that it was because of the way I flew. The commanding officer probably said, well, I don't want him to aspire to be a loop-de-loop type of pilot, so I gave him the call sign Snoopy. Once you get a name like that, I get all sorts of things in the mail. All my mugs have Snoopy on them, or pictures, or things like that.
Well, I wanted to sing a little something to Snoopy, just as a kind of tribute. Hey, Snoopy, Snoopy, hang on. Bum, 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 bum. Hey, Snoopy, Snoopy, hang on. Bum, 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 bum. Whoa, Snoopy, Snoopy, hang on. Hey, buddy, come on, sing with me. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, my God.
This is ABC News Nightline, brought to you by MCI.
We interrupt this program for an important news brief. MCI now offers 5 cents a minute every day, so you can call every evening and all weekend long. Bugs?
This is big news.
Right, Bugs. Just 5 cents. Mere change.
Change is good.
To sign up, just punch in 1-800 every day.
If I punch. Ow. Man, what a ham.
Call 1-800 every day to join.
Who is the 300 driver?
The 300 has always been built for people who love to drive.
They're the type of people who like the feel of a flying machine.
It's a car America can be proud of.
At the heart of every 300 roars its mighty engine.
Chrysler 300M, the most powerful sports sedan in its class, engineered off the beaten path.
You'll find yourself hoping almost immediately that more paths will stay unbeaten.
Chrysler 300M. Car and Driver's 10 Best 2 years running.
Sunday, the Reform Party loses its brightest star. Jesse sounds off to Sam on why he left and what he thinks about the other men who would be president. Only on This Week Sunday.
I've had some past credit problems, and getting a car can be a real challenge. Dealers have told me no.
but I got a yes from 1-800-GET-A-YES. 1-800-GET-A-YES is a service that has helped over 1 million people just like me find fast, affordable auto financing.
No one wanted to give me a car loan because of my past problems. I was about to give up when a friend told me about 1-800-GET-A-YES, and they said yes to me, fast.
Got your credit in a mess, the 1-800-GET-A-YES.
Value is important to us as a family, and when we find it, we expect quality, right? So who says that quality dental care can't be affordable dental care?
At the Castle, get braces for nothing down and $98 a month. Crowns as low as $398, dentures as low as $265.
The Castle is making it easier for me to provide for my kids, and I like that.
Call the Castle today. 1-800-SMILE. Quality dental care, affordable for everyone.
Oh, it's supper time, yes, supper time. Ooh, it's supper time, very best time of day. Supper time, yes, supper time.
If there is one central joke that runs through all 18,000 or so Peanut strips, it is that while most of us will lose far more often than we will win, somehow hope does spring eternal.
Charles Schulz has said winning isn't funny. And losers have to come up with funny stories in order to console themselves. And of course, that is something that we can all relate to, you know, except for those winners. You know, when people receive awards, you know, on big TV shows and stuff, don't you just want to smash their faces in? I mean, kinda. I mean, that's how I feel. And Charles Schulz, I think, acknowledged that, but went his own way by just sticking with, not with the winners, but with the losers.
Boy, are you stupid, Charlie Brown. You're hopeless, Charlie Brown. Completely hopeless.
Charlie is, kind of not a loser, you know. But, Charlie, things didn't go quite the way he'd hope. Yeah, well, look at the baseball games. But I like scores that are 220-0.
I mean, you had Charlie Brown, you know, this guy was always down on his luck, and he was always just this close to doing something pretty special, and never attained it.
The thing I was noted for before I managed the Yankees was I hit into 4 double plays in 1 ball game, so I could have jumped right into that comic strip on that day.
There's a lot of defeat and rejection in life, and that's why I think we love the Peanuts characters, is because they keep coming up against the same brick wall, and they keep trying, they keep going on.
Sometimes it takes a lifetime to succeed, but most of it is made up fighting your way through adversity, and to me, that's what the comic strip is all about.
It's about hope, because Charlie always comes back. He always goes after that football. He always thinks the next season's going to be a winning baseball season.
He never lost hope. That's important, too. Not losing hope, even if you grouch. Like me, I have hope. Hope for another rotten day.
Perhaps the stunning success and unparalleled longevity of the cartoon owes far more to Charles Schulz's recognition, reflected in every frame of his comic, that the quirky little insecurities and anxieties of childhood never really go away.
Peanuts was the first strip that really dealt with real human vulnerabilities and emotions in the comic strips. You know, the characters screamed ack, they screamed, they wept, they cried, they went to therapy, they had a security blanket, they ranted and raved about real stuff that people could relate to. The
gags are hilarious, but the fact is that there's a real psychological depth to the strip. And it's about ambivalence. It's about, you know, I'm going to get pretentious here. It's about unrequited love. It's about frustration, and there's a repressed hostility in this strip.
Happiness doesn't need funny. Unhappiness needs funny. That's the point of being funny.
When you laugh at a strip, more often than not, it's because you're saying, isn't that true? He deals with situations that aren't necessarily funny, but yet gives them that humorous twist.
I think the beauty of the strip is that there's a piece of all of us in the strip through one of the characters, even though we may not know him.
We saw parts of ourselves in Charlie Brown feeling insecure most of the time, unworthy, but yet going on and being confident.
Holidays always depress me. I know what you mean. I went down to buy a turkey tree. and all they have are things for Christmas.
I think that many of the Peanuts cartoons are really better understood by adults than kids. I think there's something that goes into a little kid's brain that germinates, that hatches later.
That's part of his genius, that he was able to tune in to children as an adult and even invest them with adult qualities at the same time that he kept them children.
Most grown-ups have the exact same issues working on them as grown-ups that they did when they were kids. And one of the great things to me about reading Peanuts is that you can kind of, you know, relive it out as grown-ups, and we're all still trying to get the same things right.
What comes to play when you look at a Peanut strip is not exactly what they're doing, but the body of work that's working with you. After you've read a strip for 50 years, after you've grown up, learned to read, go to school, get married, have children, it means a lot more to you.
This time I'm gonna kick that football clear to the moon!
So it's not necessarily that gag each day, but everything you remember that's speaking to you as well. So these are day in and day out reminding you who you are and to not take yourself so seriously.
I think there's even something deeper in this strip that no one ever acknowledges, and that's what's missing from the strip. What's missing from Peanuts? The parents. It's all kids. And to me, Peanuts has this unspoken message about kids in isolation. In part, it's about kids and having to cope with their own problems and frustrations without the help of parents.
I think that Schulz certainly has a very keen perception that kids shape most of their experiences independent of their parents. And I think that it's wonderful that he did keep the parents away, because the strip would have been very, very different if he had decided to put adults in there. It wouldn't have had the same impact, because it's sort of like spoiling the Land of Oz.
As a social phenomenon, it rocked. Are you looking for something deeper than that? Because I'm not real bright.
The 2000 Sable. New from Mercury.
Discipline creates performance. As of the most recent calendar year end, the AIM Charter Fund has outperformed the S&P 500 for a 30-year period, something only a handful of mutual funds can claim. The idea is discipline, the purpose is performance, the name is AIM.
One day, that little boy won't reach for your hand anymore.
Dad! Hurry up, come on, let's go!
So how are you going to hold on to him? Maybe with the memories you share. So come be part of a year-long Walt Disney World Millennium Celebration and make memories you'll hold in your heart forever. Just call 1-407-WDisney.
Celebrate the future, hand in hand.
That new boss is from another planet.
Totally spaced out at that meeting.
Hey, what's that on your desk?
ABCnews.com. Ready when you are.
The minutes are here. They're right there. Got my long distance minutes? Yes, sir, all here. Alabama, Arizona, California, Connecticut, Wisconsin, Wyoming, I get it. Hey, you're not charging me for these. Go figure. I just ship them. What am I supposed to do, give them away?
Right now, get nationwide long distance at no charge. For details, visit your local Bell South Mobility store, where affordable wireless is now in stock.
Hey, can someone help me with Texas? Here.
When I grow up, I want to break through boundaries. When I grow up, I want to be brave. When I grow up, I want to stand up for what I believe. When I grow up, I want to inspire.
I have a dream.
I'm News 2's Ann Holt. Help children strive towards excellence. Join us in celebrating Black History Month.
The thing that's interesting about Peanuts is that it introduced me to a lot of different types of music. I became more interested in Beethoven because of the strips and actually seeing those musical notes reproduced in the strips, but then discovering You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. But I also discovered jazz music because of the television show, the television specials that had Vince's music, you know.
Vince is Vince Guaraldi, the late composer who scored the early animated specials. His themes are now as much a part of the Peanuts legacy as the characters.
Of course, that was during the famous dance scene from the Charlie Brown Christmas Story from 1965. That just means to me motion. It means to me the whole Peanuts, even more than just Linus and Lucy, and they were brother and sister. To me, it means dancing, which is from the scene. But it was used, Vince used it in 7 episodes out of the 16 he did. And it was always during when something was going on, something a little rascally.
I thought I was the only one who paid attention to this music, and then I discovered there was a record album that came out, and then, of course, years later, George Winston did all these recordings of all this Peanuts music, and it influenced so many people.
Well, when I play the Peanuts themes, the kids don't really know they're listening to jazz, and they don't know it's Vince Guaraldi. They just go, that's Charlie Brown music.
As a kid, I had this little tiny tape recorder. I taped the music off the TV so I could listen to the music over and over again, and it had a great impact on me. So that was probably my first exposure to jazz.
I know when I heard Linus and Lucy during the dance scene of the Charlie Brown Christmas, that piano just drove me crazy. And I went out and got the record the next day. It's just one of those things that works. Like why do we like Mozart, or why do we like the Beatles, or why do we like any song that we like? There's this, or friends that we have, we can think of reasons, but then there's this intangible that we just like it.
I don't know how much of a connection Vince had with the characters. I don't know how long he knew the cartoon strip, but the music that he wrote was absolutely perfect for the characters.
Linus, you've got to get rid of that stupid blanket. And here, memorize these lines. I can't memorize these lines. This is ridiculous.
There's something about that captures the fun of the Peanuts characters, but it also has a driving rhythm that keeps it going for the purpose of drama. I don't think anybody could imagine any better kind of music to accompany those characters. I couldn't.
The doctor is in. To understand the impact of Peanuts over the years, just think of all those phrases now so ingrained in the popular culture. Security blanket, good grief, rats, you're a good man, Charlie Brown. The Peanuts landscape, too, has become part of our national real estate. The mailbox where Valentines never arrive, the pitching mound where Charlie Brown always loses, and the doghouse that transforms itself into anything Snoopy wants. Where will we be without any of that?
Comic strips aren't the same anymore. Everything is, you know, a robot or some freakish animal that's hard to relate to. And, you know, Peanuts were about kids and they were about life, and, you know, they just don't make them like they used to. There'll never, ever, ever be another Peanuts.
Well, life for me without Peanuts is going to be sad because I'm going to miss them. But I have most of the books. And if anybody out there is a Peanuts fan or a Charlie Brown fan, get those books. And you don't have to read them from cover to cover. Just open it up anywhere and you'll find a lesson.
They never died. The Peanuts characters, like all characters in art, live forever. And that's something that we should gratefully appreciate and cherish forever by enjoying them and rereading them again as they come around, and reading them to our children so they can enjoy the characters also.
Oscar, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for your cooperation today, even if you were just a little grumpy.
I usually hate to cooperate as one of our words. However, I want to say, hey, Charles, you're okay. Have a rotten day.
You too, bud.
Never come back.
I think the void we'll feel in the comic pages is the exact same void that you feel when you just see pictures, you see old pictures of your friends, you're not seeing them, you know, in person every day again. So the void we have is knowing that knowing that we're seeing, you know, old pictures of our friends, the Peanuts gang. We're not seeing new versions of them.
I'll wager that 500 years from now, if they were to dig up an old cartoon studio, anthropologists will probably learn more from the comic strips, from what made us laugh, for what we were feeling in that day and age, than from the front page of a newspaper from that period.
I think the only thing I can add is what everyone's thinking, is that we're sure going to miss everybody.
Well, hope does spring eternal, and for Peanuts fans, all is not lost. I'll be back with a final note in just a moment.
We never thought we'd use OnStar for snakes.
I just hate snakes.
Yeah, traveling through Arizona, we blew a front tire. It shot off the road, and I looked down at the ground. It is crawling with rattlesnakes.
It was unbelievable.
I pushed the OnStar button. Within seconds, the OnStar advisor pinpointed our location and sent a tow truck.
Call the paramedics.
Yeah, and kept talking, because we
hate snakes.
Yeah.
The one-touch connection to people who can help.
OnStar.
Call 1-800-OnStar-7.
You missed a spot.
Presenting The Day at the Gordons, where racing champion Jeff Gordon and his wife Brooke eat new Fritos chili and scoops, a hearty cup of chili and loads of Fritos corn chips. It's fast, it's filling, it's Fritos. Perfect for people on the go. New Fritos chili and scoops and sloppy Joe and scoops. Nothing goes faster.
Monday at 8/7 Central, Fletcher Reed became a successful lawyer, one lie
You're losing a little weight.
at a time.
Is it good for you?
Until one day, everything changed.
I've had better.
It's the network television premiere.
I can't lie. Any change, mister? Absolutely. Could you spare some? Yes, I could.
Jim Carrey,
Everybody's been real nice.
That's because you have big...
Liar Liar, ABC Monday at 8/7 Central.
Today on IHOP Reveal, what the 4 IHOP syrups really think.
Blueberry's pretty much the best syrup. Good on everything.
I've been on your table for, what, since you've been born?
I noticed a lot of girls go for the butter pecan.
Whichever syrup you believe, try it on IHOP's Pancake Partners. Eggs, bacon, or sausage, and your choice of banana nut, chocolate chip, or other specialty pancakes from $3.99 weekdays. Next time, Strawberry reveals why any time's a good time for IHOP.
Do you need a focus? No, not a purpose, a focus. Like this Performance Ford Focus. Focus is Ford's newest car. You can drive one home today for just $179 a month. Prefer the best-selling Taurus? Choose one like this, now only $199 a month. Performance Ford has the car you need at the price you can afford. See us today at Performance Ford off I-40 West, exit 204 on Charlotte.
The Peanuts narrative may be ending on Sunday, but Charlie Brown and Company will still grace the newspapers in the form of past strips that the United Media Syndicate plans to rerun from 1974 on. And when he recovers from cancer treatments, Charles Schulz is looking forward to writing screenplays for more animated videos. That's our report for tonight. I'm Chris Bury. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
You can order a transcript or video cassette of this or any other Nightline broadcast by dialing 1-800-CALL-ABC.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.